Deacon had always been a fan of second chances. He'd fought his way out of prison cells and poor judgments, finding consolation in the surprising arms of Sheila. She was anarchy personified, a woman with a past as dark as the midnight sky, but he noticed a glimmer of vulnerability in her eyes that mirrored his own. Their whirlwind courtship had resulted in a wedding that stunned the village, a union based on mutual forgiveness and a desperate attempt at normalcy. However, as the months passed, fractures began to develop. Whispers concerning Sheila's previous behaviors and manipulative tendencies circulated through the grapevine. And then there was Luna Nozawa. Luna, the bright-eyed intern at Forrester, is the daughter of Poppy Nozawa and, shockingly, Bill Spencer. Or so everyone thought. Her entrance injected new drama into the Spencer and Forrester families' already troubled seas. However, something evil lurked beneath her benign facade. Deacon had detected it first, during a chance encounter at the restaurant. Luna's smile was too piercing, and her queries were too penetrating. And Sheila had an unusual fascination in the girl. It began simply enough. Sheila might mention Luna casually, praising her ambition or defending her from the family's concerns. But Deacon spotted the late-night texts and covert encounters. He dismissed it at first. Sheila was attempting to be a mentor, he told himself. After all, who understood reinvention better than her? But doubt gnawed at him like an unrelenting thirst. That fateful evening, as the city lights twinkled outside, Deacon resolved to confront the truth. He'd overheard Sheila and Luna having a quiet talk in the alley behind Il Giardino. Words like cover up and evidence rang through the air, frightening him to the core. His heart raced as he pieced together the unexplained deaths of Tom Starr and Hollis, the barista. Rumors circulated that Poppy was involved, but Deacon knew better now. Luna was the mastermind behind it all. A sick plan to eliminate obstacles to her newfound status as Bill's daughter and cement her place in the empire. Deacon stormed into the alley, his face a mask of betrayal. "What the hell is going on here?" he shouted, his voice echoing against the brick walls. Sheila turned around, her eyes wide with false astonishment. Luna, ever the fast thinker, put on a teary face. "Deacon, it's not what you think. Save it," he hissed, pointing to Luna. "I know about the letters, the poison. You killed them, didn't you? Tom found out about your real paternity test and Hollis. He saw too much." Luna's veneer shattered, her lips curving into a sneer. "You have no proof. And even if you did, who'd believe a con like you over Bill Spencer's daughter?" Sheila stood between them, her hands held in placation. "Deacon, honey, let's talk inside. Luna's just confused. She's been through so much." But Deacon saw the truth in Sheila's eyes. Complicity and shared secrets. "You knew," he said softly, his voice breaking. "All this time you knew what she did, and you helped her hide it. Why, Sheila? After everything we've built." Sheila's shoulders dropped, the weight of her choices pushing down. I saw myself in her. The desperation, the need to belong. I thought I could guide her, keep her from making my mistakes. But it spiraled." Deacon glanced away, the agony twisting like a knife in his gut. The lady he loved, the one who had pledged to change, had reverted to her previous behavior. Protecting a killer violates their vows. In that moment, their happily ever after was destroyed. As the night progressed, Deacon sat alone in their apartment above the restaurant, gazing at the wedding photo on the mantel. Sheila had followed him home, appealing for understanding. "Deacon, please. We can fix this. I'll go to the police with you, expose Luna myself." But the trust had vanished. "No," he murmured quietly, his eyes streaming with unshed tears. "This isn't just about Luna. It's about us. You chose her secrets over our lives. I can't do this any longer." Sheila's face collapsed, the forceful woman reduced to a shell of herself. "Deacon, I love you. You're the only one who's ever seen the real me. And that's what hurts the most," he said, his voice scratchy. "I thought I had. But this is the old Sheila, the one who manipulates and lies. We're done." She departed that night, her things packed quietly, the door closing like the final nail in their coffin. Deacon sank into the couch, the emptiness of the room heightening his grief. How had things gotten to this? From prison to paradise, just to relapse into sorrow. The days that followed were a whirl of heartbreak. Deacon pushed himself into his work, but every part of Il Giardino reminded him of Sheila. The way she'd giggle while helping in the kitchen, her unwavering commitment in difficult times. He avoided the Forresters and Spencers, knowing that the scandal will break soon. When he finally went to the police and revealed what he knew about Luna's plot, the city erupted in commotion. Luna was arrested, and her sobbing confessions made the news. Bill was crushed, Poppy relieved but broken. But for Deacon it was a hollow win. He explored the streets of Los Angeles, the beauty fading to drab. He was haunted by memories of their first kiss under the stars, and the vows they exchanged with hope in their hearts. Sheila wrote texts begging for reconciliation, but he was unable to answer. The grief covered him like a blanket, a distinct anguish caused by loving too sincerely and trusting too blindly. In the quiet moments, Deacon questioned whether redemption was ever genuinely possible. For Sheila, Luna, and for himself, the brave and lovely world spun on, but his heart remained broken, a heartbreaking tribute to love's merciless twists. To thoroughly explore Deacon's biography, look into his prior misdeeds, time in prison, and how he met Sheila again. Sheila's viewpoint, her internal battle, why she linked with Luna, seeing her younger self and wanting to save her. Luna's story specifics include flashbacks to the crimes and her intentions. The breakup scene included extended talk, tears, and regrets. Aftermath. Deacon's loneliness, interactions with hope, and Bill's thanks transforms into pity. Sad elements include themes of lost love, betrayal, and the circle of dysfunction in families. Unique twist. Perhaps Deacon discovers a letter from Sheila revealing she was protecting him from Luna's threats, adding layers of sacrifice and misunderstanding, heightening the sadness. However, the instructions make no mention of guidelines, and the final response contains no function calls, only the story. Adjusted. Output the entire tale if feasible, but because it is extensive, the above is a start. Deacon Sharp's world began to shatter in the shadowy corners of Los Angeles, where the dazzling surface of luxury and fashion concealed the raw undercurrents of treachery and heartbreak. It was a Tuesday evening, and the sun had fallen low below the hills, throwing an orange glow over the city that seemed more like a warning than a promise. Il Giardino, his restaurant, had recently closed for the night. The final customers had left, their laughter ringing slightly as they walked into the warm California air. Deacon wiped down the bar, his movements mechanical and his head filled with distrust. Deacon had always survived. Born into chaos, he'd made horrible decisions his entire life. Prison stints, broken romances, and the continuous tug of redemption that remained out his reach. But Sheila Carter had changed that. Or so he believed. She was his wild card, the woman with 9 lives and a heart as stormy as the ocean. Their marriage had been a defiant response to the world's judgment. Us against them, she'd say quietly, her fingers tracing patterns on his chest. He loved her passionately, warts and all. She made him feel seen not as an ex-con, but as a man deserving of love. However, something has recently changed. Sheila's absences became longer, and her justifications became less specific. And then there was Luna Nozawa. The young woman had appeared in their life like a comet, the daughter of Poppy and apparently Bill Spencer. She worked at Forrester Creations, her desire shining brightly, but Deacon noticed a darkness in her eyes, a thirst that went beyond her professional goals. Rumors circulated regarding her involvement in the killings of Tom Starr and Hollis. Poisoned letters in strange circumstances. The cops had Poppy in their sights, but Deacon's instincts warned him otherwise. Everything came to a head that night. Deacon had followed Sheila to a hidden area behind the restaurant, where she spoke quietly and urgently to someone in the shadows. He squeezed against the wall, his heart racing, and listened. "You can't keep this up, Luna," Sheila said, her voice a mix of mother concern and conspiratorial edge. "Deacon's getting suspicious. If he finds out about the letters, about what you did to Tom and Hollis," Luna's voice cut in, sharp and unapologetic. "He won't. Not if you keep your mouth shut. You promised to help me, Sheila. I did this for us, for the family I deserve. Bill is my father, and no one will take that away." Deacon's pulse was racing. He stepped outside, the gravel crackling beneath his boots. "What the hell is this?" Sheila spun around, her face pale. Luna froze, her innocent facade slipping just enough to expose the predator beneath. Deacon, it's not, Sheila began, but he raised his hand. Don't. I heard enough. Luna, you killed them. Tom discovered your fake paternity test, didn't he? Hollis saw you planting evidence on your mother. And you. He turned to Sheila, his betrayal hitting her like a physical blow. You knew. You've been covering for her. Luna chuckled with a cold, empty tone. Prove it, old man. Everyone thinks Poppy did it. And Sheila? She's on my side. We're alike. Survivors. Sheila's eyes welled with tears. Deacon, please. Let me explain. Luna came to me weeks ago terrified. I saw myself in her, the mistakes, the desperation. I thought I could guide her, stop her from going too far. But it escalated. Deacon's perspective suddenly shifted. The woman he trusted, who had promised to leave her manipulative past behind, had chosen to defend a murderer above their future together. Escalated? Sheila, she's a killer. And you're an accessory to it all. How could you? They raged into the night, their voices rising and falling like waves smashing on rocks. Luna slinked away, abandoning the newlyweds to their demise. Sheila begged, grasping his shirt. I love you, Deacon. More than anything, I was trying to protect us all. However, the harm had already been done. Protect us? By lying? By betraying me? His voice broke, tears welling up from deep within. I thought we were past this. I thought you were past this. As daylight came, Sheila packed her things quietly. Deacon looked from the doorway, his heart a heavy stone in his chest. This is it then, he whispered softly. We're over. She nodded, tears running down her cheeks. I never meant to hurt you. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. The door closed behind her, leaving Deacon alone. The apartment felt big and deserted. He dropped to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. How had love turned to ashes so quickly? The scandal erupted over the next few days. Deacon went to the police and detailed Luna's plot, the fake documents, the poisoned missives, and the web of falsehoods. Luna was caught, and her confession burst out in a torrent of wrath and anguish. Bill Spencer was devastated, publicly disowning her while dealing with his own guilt. Poppy was cleared, but family ties were irrevocably damaged. For Deacon, however, the victory was bittersweet. He roamed the streets of Los Angeles, a city that had given him so much while also taking him so much. Sheila's laughter in the kitchen as she helped cook meals, her warm body next him in bed, the way she'd protect him against the world's scorn were all memories that flooded him. Hope Logan, his daughter, attempted to calm him. Dad, you did the right thing, she'd remark, pulling him close. But the emptiness stayed. Sheila called and left messages full of contrition. Deacon, I miss you. Let's try again. He deleted them all, each one a new hurt. The melancholy was distinct, a combination of love loss and self-doubt. Had he been foolish to believe in her? Or was the true tragedy that they were both shattered souls doomed to hurt one another? Months passed, and Deacon put himself into Il Giardino, developing the menu and organizing events. But late at night, when the world was quiet, the pain returned. He imagined various paths. If he had addressed Sheila sooner, if she had made a different decision. The flamboyant and gorgeous life continued around him, but his story had become tragic, a terrible tale of what may have been. One stormy evening, as thunder boomed overhead, Deacon discovered a letter slid under the door. Sheila's handwriting. My dearest Deacon, I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but know this. I helped Luna because she threatened you. She knew your past, said she'd frame you if I didn't cooperate. I chose silence to protect you, but we lost each other in the process. Goodbye, my love. He clutched the paper, tears mixing with raindrops on the window. The revelation twisted the knife even deeper. Her sacrifice, his misunderstanding. Unfortunately, it was too late. Sheila had vanished, with whispers spreading that she had left town to start over again. Deacon sat in the dark, weighed down by regret. In a city of dreams, his had shattered, leaving only the echo of a love that was too brilliant and too short. The melancholy was deep, a one-of-a-kind aching that no amount of time could totally heal, a reminder that even in redemption, heartbreak lingered in the shadows. Flashback to their wedding day. The sun shined on the beach and the waves lapped gently. Deacon stood in a modest suit, his anxieties jittering. Sheila approached, her dress flowing like a dream, eyes fixed on him. I promise to be the woman you see in me, she said, her voice shaking. He believed her and his heart was full. Now that memory taunted him, a dismal contrast to their demise. Deacon's everyday routine developed become an avoidance habit. He avoided Forrester parties since Bill's somber presence reminded him of Luna's deception. He avoided the alley where the confrontation occurred, taking longer routes. Friends such as Rich Forrester expressed compassion, but their words felt hollow. You deserve better, Deacon. But better than what? Better than the passion that had fueled his soul? Sheila's version of the story tormented him in dreams. In his vision, he saw her with Luna, the young woman sharing her anxieties. I'm not Bill's daughter, Luna admitted throughout the vision. I faked it all. But if they find out, I'll lose everything. Sheila, empathizing with her own feelings of abandonment, volunteered to assist in concealing the evidence. However, when murders entered the scene, Sheila was trapped, her past drawing her back. The special sadness was in the what-ifs. What if Deacon had noticed earlier? What if Sheila had confided in him? The breakup was more than just a separation. It was the end of hope. As winter neared, Deacon visited Hope more frequently, seeking refuge in family. I'm proud of you, Dad, she told him one afternoon over coffee. Exposing Luna saved lives. But he could see sadness in her eyes, as well as concern for his loneliness. Unable to sleep, Deacon drove to the beach where they wedded. The waves smashed coldly and relentlessly. He sprinkled rose petals into the sea as a solemn farewell. I loved you, Sheila. God help me, I still do. Deacon and Sheila's story became a cautionary tale about the fragility of love in Los Angeles. Luna's trial stretched on, and her pleadings for mercy fell on deaf ears. Bill testified, his voice breaking as he described the betrayal. Poppy restored her life, but the scars persisted. For Deacon, the anguish turned into a peaceful resignation. He dated casually, but no one stood out. The restaurant thrived, a monument to his fortitude, but the delight remained subdued. Years later, a knock on the door. Sheila was older, wiser, and her eyes were filled with sadness. Deacon. But it is another story. For the time being, the grief remained, a distinct melody of loss among the symphony of the bold and beautiful.